Welcome to the nasscom Conversations, where we delve today into a very interesting theme on how do you approach technology services business with an engineering mindset. What does this really mean? I think to decode this for us, we have Harmeet Chauhan, CEO of New Realm, joining us today. Harmeet is a veteran in the technology and engineering sector, having worked with leading companies like Wipro, HCL, Altron, and is now the CEO at New Realm. Welcome, Harmeet.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for inviting me for this opportunity. Truly excited to share my perspective. Having worked both in tech services, very focused on ER&D, and also having been a product guy before in my career, and currently leading New Realm, where New Realm is where we are going to test and getting the engineering mindset thesis out to our clients and start to create
Wonderful. So
value.
let's start with what engineering mindset. See, we've had the technology services industry, we had the operations sector, and we had this engineering R&D sector where you've done a lot of work. So when you're talking about reimagining technology services within engineering mindset, what is it that you're really talking about? Is it about reshaping engineering as it traditionally happens? Is it about bringing all of these three together in a certain way? Tell us a little more about how do you make this simpler to understand.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, ER&D industry uh, helps clients globally grow. It's not about cutting costs, it's about helping them accelerate their journey to add value to their clients. The BPO industry is all about ensuring that the backbone of the process, whether it's domain, whether it's horizontal business processes, brought to life. And IT services is to enable technology to work and make a business a better enterprise. So that is a broad distinction in my mind when I look at these three building blocks of the tech services industry. And the lines, thanks to AI to me is an evolution of a technology stack and technology stack getting redefined. So it's not just a mainframe era or a client server era or a digital era. It is reimagining as to how the technology stack, what it is, and how uh, the world around us, whether it's in a B2B or a B2C environment, consumes. And that's where the lines are blurring between these three building blocks of the tech services industry. Everybody wants to be efficient, whether you're doing IT, whether you're doing ER&D, whether you want to do BPO. Everybody wants value out of technology from an ROI standpoint. And that's where everybody wants their enterprise to become tech first, or the technology has to become core for them to drive and build and scale that enterprise and create value for their clients. And number three, they be able to align to the customer expectation as to how the information is getting consumed, as to how their business models are going to get reimagined, and because of artificial intelligence. So they can do that. It is becoming easier in the world of AI for them to become a tech company rather than being a classic non-tech company. Now, when we look at in ER&D industry, but before even I go there, if you have to simplify our building blocks, you have a technology component in tech services, you have a skill set slash people component in the industry, and you have a process component. The color of it varies depending on which three building blocks you go to. In the ER&D industry, it's technology in terms of understanding different technologies. You are going to do product development. Skill set is either language based predominantly, and in process, you need to understand product development, software development life cycles. You want to need to understand operation technology process, and you need to understand the different industries this process is getting deployed. Same is true for IT. The process knowledge, the skill set is different. The technology components will be different. Same is true for BPO. Now, in the world of AI, the lines are truly blurring across these boundaries because the technologies are becoming much more common, which is getting deployed. The skill set remains still a very distinct view, and the process knowledge is becoming common across because the processes are getting simplified and reimagined. And unifying that process knowledge is where helping enterprise companies become tech companies. So when we talk about engineering mindset, I reflect a problem solving and a learning mindset. That problem solving and learning mindset is super critical as you reimagine the technology stack, the technology level. As you reimagine the skill set, you go from a single dimension to multi-dimensional skills, and as to how you systemic the process, whether it's a system of records or system of execution. They are becoming, you need to have both dimension knowledge rather than having one or the other. And that's where the lines are blurring from a capability for you to create value for your clients. Even the decision makers at clients are changing. They are going beyond the CIO. And as a result, all three have to look at differently. Well, so this is where I believe the problem solving and learning mindset, which I call the engineering mindset, is becoming going to become prevalent for you to redefine these three building blocks. Ability to solve a problem, ability to innovate. That's where the engineering mindset comes in. It's
So
not
the engineering
repeatable concept.
mindset is not engineering R&D services as we traditionally saw it, but this whole problem solving, critical thinking, learnability, and that mindset to any project or solution or product that you're really building out. Is that's really how you're defining the engineering
That
mindset.
is correct. That is correct. And it so happens that the talent which has understands the ER&D market, who has created value from ER&D market, is best positioned to think holistically. For example, in a skill set, now you need product managers to even redefine the process, redefine as to how technology gets consumed. So, as to how you run the enterprise, the business stakeholders are playing a much larger role than a classic CIO or a chief digital officer. The ER&D industry was already working with them. So, their ability, that talent, that expertise is now more critical for the whole enterprise rather than just an ER&D lens.
No, I think that's very well articulated, and I think it is the go forward for the entire technology services industry as we look ahead. And you're seeing that happen, right? I mean, all the data we are tracking, whether it's services companies or even GCCs, even a banking GCC has a product engineering team sitting there. So clearly, I think that blurring of boundaries and that mindset is shifting as we look at what AI and some of these emerging technologies are doing to redefine how technology was produced and consumed in the past, right? But just coming back to this India's technology services sector, right? We've been the growth engine for the country. It's created and reimagined India. Somewhere over the last 18 months or so, it feels like we are at some kind of a inflection point. There is a slowdown in growth, mostly led by external factors. But there is the whole, if I can use that word, slight nervousness on what will AI do to this sector, right? And somebody who's seen multiple technology shifts, how are you seeing the AI wave? Is it similar to all the previous waves that we've seen? Will come out stronger, fast, more agile at the end of this? Or is it something that we will have to approach with a different lens?
Thank you, Sangeeta. That question, every boardroom is having a conversation on, every executive, every engineer coming out of college and starting their career in the industry is talking about. Uh, Let me step back for a minute. And when all of us went through a chat GPT moment, um, we said the world is going to shift, the tech services industry is dead. 1 year into it, people said, no, it's not dead, it has to reimagine. And in last 1 or 2 quarters, we say that no, it's going to be critical, but it's going to look differently. So what you're seeing is a natural cycle of a human thought process. When you get to learn more, when you get to know more about technology adoption, you start the picture, the fuzziness starts becoming much more clear. For a tech services industry, it is going to be a fourth chapter, if I look at last 30 years, of a change. But this chapter is going to be a material change because it is challenging the core business model, which is based on skill set and process. And when it comes to technology, it is standard implementation playbook. You have a standard playbooks which has repeatability in it. In the world of AI, you're going from a technology stack from not which is not mainframe, which is not classic server which evolved into cloud. It's a reimagine of a technology stack. So when the technology stack is getting reimagined, the need of skill set is no more that you need to be an engineer. Now you need your skill set is going to be a lot more how you use this technology effectively to reimagine business. That is where the tech services industry is starting to feel the need of a fundamental shift. And that shift is in progress. Now, last 2, 3 years or last 18 months of challenges in the earnings is not just AI plus macro, plus there is overcapacity of innovation. So the innovation roadmaps, the technology adoption journey in enterprises is being reimagined, is being revisited. So till the time your customers don't have a clear picture, or you're not helping them travel that picture, bring clarity to the picture, your business is getting impacted. The tech services industry has seen emergence of new players, has seen emergence of small players becoming large. They are working with clients closely to help them reimagine their technology landscape with AI. Those companies, interestingly, in the last 18 months, are doing even better than the large ones. So when you look at as to how your pyramid is, which is in a 70-20-10 model, that pyramid is changing. Your talent models are set up on one-dimensional skill set. Now they're becoming multi-dimensional skill set. There are new kind of skills you need, like product management, storytelling, and all of that. That is not there. So there's a huge effort of reskilling and learning and development. That's the reason you're seeing a creation of a training ecosystem, which is now coming to life. It's moving from a cost play to a revenue play. So, and you're seeing uh, ER&D industry, BPO industry, and parts of tech services industry going through reinvention mode, which some of the companies are doing. So if I play this back to you, you have a new tech stack coming on, which is making it easier. You have the new players, tech players coming in the market who are reimagining the partner ecosystem differently, which is triggering a need of new skill set, new models, and all that. So the companies are sitting with a skill set which they are answering the question, are they reskillable or not? And companies are making bets to go travel that journey, and that journey is in progress. So I believe tech services industry has future ahead, and tech services industry will lean on its process knowledge, will lean on its ability to keep the enterprises running, and will lean on continue to get enterprises to be productive and innovative in the context of AI stack. Even when GCCs are being established, even when insourcing of talent is happening in across the industries, that is to ensure that there is core as enterprises are becoming technology becoming core to every enterprise. They need to have that core talent with them. So the definition of core versus context is getting reimagined. Even with GCCs, they don't have the ability to improve productivity every year the way a tech services company can do. And as a result, you will see GCCs and tech services industry will coexist. They will go through this maturity curve. And that's what is happening in front of us. And I would say this is not an incremental change, it's a systemic shift. And that's where the tech services ecosystem needs some bold decisions, harder risk taking. And people who do that will evolve as winners, and people who stay close to clients as well.
So
So the
let's
opportunity lies for tech services, just to, sorry to interrupt you there, but lies in when we say the world of AI, for customers to imagine and use to get the benefits of AI, there is billions of lines of software code which needs to be modernized and prepared for the world of AI. There is petabytes and terabytes and unlimited data out there in every enterprise and every ecosystem. That needs to be brought to a very simplified, unified format for it to be used with AI. So, in fact, the journey in the AI today is there is paucity of data, there is lack of unified data, and people are slowly saying, even if for you to go do that, you need to now look at the software code which you have, because everybody is not going to innovate from greenfield ground up. There's going to be a lot of movement of old technology to the world of AI. And that's where tech services will play a significant role. This is where your engineering mindset is going to become very critical because you need to understand software for it to be used by AI.
I think so. My follow-up question, Harmeet, was really around skills, right? Because at the core of all of this is how do you train for this new world, or how do you upskill for this new world, right? In the past, we would take people from campuses, put them through a certain learning process in companies, and then they would learn on the projects as they moved along. Today, you need to reimagine how skilling learning is happening. Not everybody will be able to adapt to this new world. So how, what, and obviously, the like you said, the pyramid will not look as it is. So jobs will be different. So how do you think about skilling and skill strategies in this new world?
See, tech services industry has thrived in training people coming out of campuses, training them into a single dimensional skill depending on the competence, need, and everything coming together. So that skill development was limited only to freshers and people with up to 10-year experience. Number one shift, which is already happening, is that that skill development is becoming a multidimensional. B, it's not limited to freshers coming in; it's across the
Any
organization,
age group. Yeah.
whosoever wants to be. Number three, you are seeing an advent of a chief learning officer role across the tech services industry, and it's not getting embedded three layers away from the CEO. It is getting embedded at the L2 level across organizations. Number three, you are seeing companies like Newrem using a lot more third-party training ecosystem around us because internally we will not have answers to all of it. So simply put, training, learning, and development is becoming an integral part of everything we do. It's becoming part of your performance management, it's becoming part of your ability to go find new projects, all of it. And secondly, there is also an increased realization that the large companies are trying to customize the curriculum in colleges, and companies like Newham now have the ability to hire people from even colleges, which typically will be the cream de la cream of an Indian ecosystem or a US ecosystem. Because and we're not limiting ourselves to just hire engineers, bring people who can think differently, are not just writing a code. They have the ability to understand the code. Interestingly, a lot 20-year-old coming out of a college today has a better skill in that than a 30. And we are seeing this happening around us. Now it is still early days, but I would say the whole training, skill development, hiring is evolving in front of us and is becoming much more core rather than a factory mindset, which was a basic thing. Now it's becoming across the organization.
My last question really is around, the whole industry has been on a FT type of model in the past, and now increasingly there's focus on IP, R&D platforms that people are focusing on building out. I saw on your website you recently launched something for, reimagining the SDLC cycle. How do you see that combination of IP-led services, and you see that becoming much more real from a business model perspective than the traditional models that we've always focused on?
Sangeeta, that's a question for the last couple of months every boardroom and every tech executive is asking. Today, our pricing models, our business models are based on a cost plus basis. Tomorrow, we are talking about value based models. So if you look at the thesis in the market, which is evolving in front of us, is should I track dollar per head count? Companies like Palantir are talking about it. And then people are saying that, okay, give me automation advantages, and you don't going to have 100 employees, you're going to have 50 employees, and you have 50 agents. And I will still price them on a cost plus basis, but those agents will not cost you $2,000 a month. They'll cost you only $200-300 a month. The challenge and the complexity we are dealing with is twofold. Number one, the work which was happening in, let's say, 1 year will happen in 6 months. So how do you price for 1 year? Second, these agents, when we talk agent as a service, and this is a reflection of engineering mindset, these agents is not a one-time activity. The way you keep a human being upgraded on skill, these agents will have to be treated like products, because for them to have the most current process knowledge, more current technology knowledge, for them to continue to operate at the same level of efficiency. So when we say agent, so I believe, this is my belief, that we will go through experimentation of a value-based model in different shapes and form over the next 2-3 years. But if I had looked back 3 years from now, and if I said, okay, I was the best predictor, subscription as a service where a customer will start treating agent like a product, like a human being. And step one, it's a human in the loop. So every decision agent will take till the time it gets to threshold, the human being will verify. And then you'll get to a point that agent will start taking more and more. But human in the loop will remain for next, at least near
Will
future.
this make it more commoditized, right? Because everybody is building out agents, and what will be your unique differentiator?
To me, the unique differentiation, going back to the earlier point, is how do you bring technology, skill, and process knowledge into that agent? And this is where, if you're not an engineering company, if you do not know how to build products real time and you automate and bring that mix, is going to play. And the human beings behind it who are going to manage these agents will also continue to lean on that process knowledge. So your domain understanding, your business process understanding is going to become even more critical. Your ability to create value for clients through these agents is going to become a differentiating factor. That's
Yeah.
where I see it. And for now, of course, nobody has a crystal ball, but we're going to evolve through it. So,
Yeah, no, it does feel very real. I think the change will happen, whether it's 18, 24 months or 3 to 5 years. I think nobody knows that answer, right? So,
but what are we missing in this, Sangeeta, is where one of the conversations I learned and was very insightful is, and we're seeing some of it already in front of me. A lot of new jobs are going to get created within an enterprise. Somebody gave a very nice example of a digital nurse. So that will improve the productivity. It's not that we are replacing the nurse, we are improving the productivity of a nurse. Contact center as a service. I met one of the industry legends in that market recently. And the conversation was that, are we replacing call center employees with software written to automate the contact center process? And the pushback, so if you put a Silicon Valley lens, answer is yes. But if you put an enterprise lens, which is trying to become a tech company, he says, no. Now I'm working on upgrading the experience of my customers. I just don't need more employees. I can do with same, because we're trained and they have the human touch to it. But now they're going to be backed up with a lot of technology. So their ability to create experience is going to go up. We are seeing that happening. That opportunity was not available to tech services. So I would say that tech services has to get comfortable with blurring, has to get comfortable with new business models, but more importantly, has to get comfortable creating new opportunities within that real estate. The real estate for us is expanding, provided we go beyond the CIO.
every line of business is a customer. We saw that a little in the past, but in digital wave. But I think in AI wave, it's much more where every line of business in an enterprise is a potential customer. I think that's the hypothesis NASSCOM is also working on, that while existing jobs may not grow or shrink slightly, but I think the new job creation has a potential to add much more than, any small shifts that may happen. But those jobs and even the existing jobs require very different mindsets, different skills, constant learning. It's not about learning today and forgetting about it, right? So I think that's really the change environment that we are in today.
Absolutely, and I think you said it well. And National Education Policy of India, the new one, it's not new anymore. It's a couple of years old. I think based on the universities evolving in India, the investments going in the education ecosystem,
Yeah.
is going to start delivering results as part of this. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll take 3-4 years before we start seeing the end outcomes, but I think the willingness to change is very, very high, which we haven't necessarily seen in the past. So I think that's a good beginning, as we'd like to call it. But yeah, we have a long journey ahead on the skills transformation for India, given our demographics and our priorities, right? So in some ways, no, thank you so much, Harmeet, for this very, very interesting conversation. I know we could have gone on much longer, but we really appreciate you making the time and joining us. And we hope to have you in person at one of our future events and do this in person together.
Absolutely, Sangeeta. Truly an honor and privilege. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you.